Welcome back to the 100 spin test. This is episode 118, and we're continuing to test progressions as we wade once again into the murky waters of roulette strategies. You know the type. They look great on the surface, like a low-mileage 1973 Ford Cortina for £500, but it's so rusty underneath that it could be a Flintstones car. Ever wonder if these so-called guaranteed wins can withstand real-world distractions and the way our brains actually work? I guess that you're in the right place. Today's test is the 21 Roulette strategy, featured on the May 13, 2025 episode of the Gamblers University channel. It's a simple 2-column, 1 dozen, 28-number bet that uses a deviation on D'Alembert. This one ladders up on a loss and resets whenever a new session high, meaning your highest total profit so far, is reached. I know. I am leaning heavily into the D'Alembert and flat bets. I'll be coding some new progressions, but the bingo callers that I critique usually use D'Alembert so they don't crash out quickly. I'll try to find some Paroli and Le Boucher-style progressions to take the piss out of in future episodes. For scaling, and your sanity, I've kept the unit size at 1 simoleon. Put 8 units each on the second and third columns and 5 on the second dozen. We're testing this on an American wheel. That's 38 numbers in total. With 24 winning numbers, there are 14 ways to lose, or more positively stated, a 63% chance to hit on any given spin. And thanks to those grassy green zeros, the house still enjoys a quiet but exploitative 5.3% edge. Since this is a progression, wins and losses are multiplied by the progression level. It seems simple enough. There are 2 tiers of wins. You get the big payout, which is 18 times your progression level if the ball lands on jackpot numbers 14, 15, 17, 18, 20, 21, 23, or 24. Since the bet is 21 times the progression level, winning 18 times your progression level doesn't even double your bet. A more modest win, 3 times the progression level, happens if you hit any of these 16 backup numbers: 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12, 26, 27, 29, 30, 32, 33, 35 or 36. But if it lands on 13, 16, 19, or 22, you lose 6 times the progression level, and your whole 21 times progression level bet goes up in smoke if the ball finds 0, 00, 1, 4, 7, 10, 25, 28, 31, or 34. This is going to be a long one. I've broken down the spins into chapters of 10 so you can choose to skip over as much of the video that you want. Professor Profit quits after 100 units of profit on what I assume to be cherry-picked data. Let's see if 21 can hold up, or fall flat, in 100 spins with no do-overs. The roulette wheel is just one of several visual tools on this dashboard, included to track this strategy as it plays out. These visuals are here for transparency so you can judge the data for yourself and follow the strategy's performance, good or bad. For full details on this test and past results, see the links in the description below.
Now let's speed things up and watch the progress. I'll be back at the end to summarize.
We met our profit goal late in the game and finished up 60, but the professor should have his tenure revoked for publishing false data. There is no sane person in the world who should use this, so I expect to see it on the Roulette Crackpot channel one day. We were down over 800 units and were making 357 unit bets at one point. I don't think that most players have the resources or impulse control to wait for a recovery, not to mention table limits might thwart an attempt. This bet is not realistic or practical. I used to like Professor Profit, then thought that he may have lost his way, but now assume that he's just another bottom feeder like the Roulette Master, Bet with Mo, Roulette Crackpot, and the quote-unquote king. These folks are selling lies to people and don't take accountability for their bad advice. I get so offended by the shrug and the "it's gambling" response when unrealistic data is presented and viewers later report that they can't replicate the video creator's success. It's victim blaming. To give the professor some credit, he does advise that viewers test the bet before using real money, but any bet can win money in the short term with non-representative numbers, but eventually there is a regression towards the mean. Let's talk stats. On average, it took 1.6 spins to get a win. About 68% of wins came within 3 spins, and 95% within 4. The standard deviation was 0.9. This low deviation suggests that outcomes clustered tightly around the average, reinforcing the illusion of stability. This system was profitable for 43% of the spins. At our peak, we were 120 units above the starting point. I am critical of D'Alembert systems in general. The drawdowns are brutal, but the profits tend to plateau early. We had a low watermark of -837 before recovering to finish at +60, but most of us would be out of money before we were able to recover. We had no repeaters this time. The first column and zeros were underrepresented in the data, so this could have been so much worse than being down 837 at one point. The hottest numbers were 17, hitting 6 times, and 6, 13, and 22, each hitting 5 times. The cold numbers, those that did not hit, were 15 and 18. 00, 4, 11, 16, 21, 24, 33, 34, and 36 each hit once. There were 2 streaks of 6 wins in a row, 3 of 5, 2 of 4, 3 of 3, and 7 streaks of 2 consecutive wins. There were 4 streaks of 3 consecutive losses, and 8 streaks of 2 losses in a row. Let's look at our rankings. 21 ranked 35th out of 141 for raw profit loss and 43rd for percent change. The percent change will be changing for videos with progressions once I calculate entire bet rather than 100 times the base bet. Flat betting would have lost 138. Instead, we risked everything, sweated bullets, and walked away with 60. Call it a win if you like. I call it a ticking time bomb. Casinos are profit-driven businesses. They're not here to make you rich. They're here to take what you're willing to give. So never accept gambling advice at face value. Test every strategy. Use whatever tools you have. Run it more than once. Look for cherry-picked data and winning stories that hide losses. Read the critiques. Understand the flaws. Stay skeptical. If someone discourages questions or deletes criticism, that's a red flag. You're not a hater for asking how or why something supposedly works. You're doing what they won't. Thinking critically. Yes, some strategies will work, for a while. If they don't hold up over time, they're not systems. They're just luck in disguise. Know your risks. Know your limits and treat every piece of gambling advice, especially the confident ones, with caution.
Good luck until the next time.